Hello and welcome to a Mixing Babies and Business session on pursuing career growth while raising kids. I'm your host, Amy Lynch, and I'll be sharing parent-friendly business tips, workflows, and resources that you will be able to implement straight away. So this isn't going to be um, a telling you about the problem session. This is going to be telling you how to go and do the thing that you want to do. So first, I'd like to start off with welcoming you and doing a land acknowledgement. I'm presenting to you from our home, our family home in Ottawa, on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. And I want to acknowledge and honor the traditional and ancestral territories of First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people across this country. I also wish to acknowledge the traditional and ongoing communities of the land where you are joining us from. So at the end of today's session, so within the next 60 minutes or less, you're going to receive 3 strategies that I've applied on repeat doing flexible and remote work contracts, being an in-house employee, doing fractional consulting, being a freelancer, and as a small business owner who has delivered services primarily. I am going to be sharing my experiences, lived experiences with you, doing so as a parent of 3 kids. We have lived in Australia, Canada, Ireland, and England since becoming parents in England and Canada. And our children are ages 4, 7, and 9 at the time of this recording, and they are dual citizens between Ireland and Canada. So this session, if you're tuning in and you're watching the first few minutes, I just want to assure you that if you are a parent, this is for you. But if you're not, or you're not a primary caregiver, this is probably not going to be as relevant for you. This is primarily parent-friendly professional development. If you want to seek one-on-one support, I can offer that, but not during a session like this. So I do have some free trainings and other offerings for you that you can pursue. And if you don't have a growth mindset or are not willing to be self-led, this isn't going to be for you because this requires you embodying your values, taking action, and looking for opportunities everywhere, as well as advocating for yourself. My belief has always been, before having children, and even more so now as a parent, that everyone deserves to design a life that works for them and their family. I talk about it often. This is an image of me speaking at Creative Mornings in 2019 alongside our, at the time, 10-month-old son and not quite 3-year-old son. And I, at that stage, had done freelancing, had done small businesses in Canada and Australia and Europe. And I had also grown up on a family farm. So I'm from a farm generation family. I think it's 6 or 7 generations, and as is my partner. So I just grew up with my parents around. So did they. And we are in suburbia now, in a city, and we are still raising our kids with similar values to what we grew up with. So not only was I talking about these things and advocating for them, I decided to create flexible work resources for parents like you. This has looked like a mini guide based on my experiences doing public speaking, hosting events, as well as being invited to government roundtables, delivering corporate training, having client meetings. So there's a free mini guide that you can download about navigating the corporate jungle with kids. And then there's also a paid workshop that goes more in depth on that mini guide. And it's about 45 minutes and it shares practical ways that you can do that yourself using those 4 steps. I have a private foundations podcast that I created in the last year as I realized the more I talk to parents and caregivers who are trying to pursue flexible and remote work, and do activism or do advocacy, do hard things, I realized that I hadn't really shared my behind the scenes rituals and tools that I use to regulate my nervous system, to work on my mindset, to make processes easier for me, to make opportunities easier for me to pursue, and to get better at receiving. So I created that as a DIY resource for you. It's audio first. I also have events in a community that I've opened that give you access to all of my paid resources. So that includes flexible and remote work with kids resources, as well as a remote work retreat, starting up a business based on an idea, but not necessarily having the MVP yet, the minimum viable product yet, or the audience built for it. So I have a business book about that, an audiobook, as well as meetups that I'm hosting throughout the year. So I decided to bundle that into a membership offering to keep it simple and to give people touch points throughout the year if they'd like to meet other parents. And if you want to just do things on your own and you want to work around kids and tune in to the podcast, you can do that. There are 6 seasons of it available streaming most places where you get your podcast listening. And there are currently, as of the start of 2026, end of 2025, there was 90 listener countries, and that's been done over the past 6 years. So that is free for you to listen to interviews with other people like yourself who are running businesses, leading businesses, and raising families. Some nice feedback that people have given me on this work. I'm just going here first because the rest of the time you're going to be absorbing my my advice and my lived experiences and deciding, is this something that you want to try on for yourself and pursue? But I just want to reassure you, this is recent feedback from the last year on the left of parents. So some of the things people have said based on these sessions is inspiring to see what's possible, can't express how much I needed this today, following in your footsteps, work from anywhere with kids for the win. How do you manage having your child having a tantrum? So I addressed that during that session, but they really related to my resources. And I've also hosted events in business spaces and startup spaces for parents locally for the last few years. So since 2018 until about 2023 before I moved to primarily digital. But some of the feedback from parents was appreciated the interaction, networking tips, simplicity of the presentation, wish there was time for more, would love to see more opportunities like this, and great event today. I think you bring to light a very important perspective. And I'm excited to share that I'm going to be releasing a DIY event hosting kit for people who are either event organizers or want to become event organizers who want to host inclusive events in business spaces like I've done. And just sharing the room setup and the run sheets and the templates because I'm not physically able to do in-person events anymore, but I want to be able to encourage others to do it and to give them the tools to do it so that you can create local grassroots movements in your communities. And I'll skip over these testimonials because you'll see them whenever I send you links after. There's some on the website, but just I have been privileged to receive feedback publicly from members of parliament, from other business leaders who are also parents, and I don't take it for granted that people share my work or speak positively about it. And sometimes that's in private messages or private emails. Some people share their secrets with me about looking at starting their own business or looking to leave their corporate career and working up a side hustle on the side, or even planning to start a family, but not knowing when it will happen, but wanting to be mentally prepared. So I don't take that for granted that people trust me to um, encourage them, but also to hold those aspirations for them. And this is some of the public feedback that I've received, and I really appreciate it. And I try to share others' work when I can that is along the same lines. So we'll get straight into it. And I just want to thank you as well for registering for today's session or for tuning into this as a replay, for finding Mixing Babies and Business, for signing up to indicate that you are interested in this work because not everybody understands it. The ones who do understand it aren't always sure how it would work for them. And the ones who want to pursue it always need other examples of people who are doing it and it going well. So I really hope that that can be you in future if you're not already doing it. And I will share a remote work checklist at the end of this, which I'm only covering professional elements today. So I always say my work when I share hybrid, remote, and flexible work resources, I always talk about personal and professional. elements because I believe we need to incorporate all aspects of our life and not only focus on the work. And so this session, though, today, I'm mainly focusing on the professional and I don't have time to go through both. So I just want to give you that as a checklist so that you can explore what that would look like for you personally. And there are more than these three that I'm sharing today, but you probably can already tell from this topic that there are lots of areas that we could be covering.